Hey everyone, thank you once again for spending some time and dedicating some of your headspace to listening to the Goodwerks podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Core Medical Military Appreciation Weekend, and you're going to notice that a couple of things are different. Well, you may not notice it. If you're watching, you'll see that I have a microphone in my face. I just took a little bit of did a little research and took a little bit of money and invested in some gear. I wanted to kind of future-proof the content for Goodwerks. I wanted to make it so that way I can deliver, high-quality content for quite a while. I have a few things planned that are coming up that I'm really excited about, and I wanted to make sure I could deliver that as best as I could. I understand, hardware versus software, so I want to put my old skill set to use to bring you better content. So maybe makes it a little easier to listen to, a little easier to watch, and a little more entertaining, and hopefully it brings you some value. So like I said, I want to talk about the Core Medical Military Appreciation Weekend that happened a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, or whatever. So if you remember, so Core Medical, they are a company that helps get people optimized with hormone and testosterone replacement therapy. So the basic process is you contact them, you pay for a blood panel, you go to a lab locally, you get your blood checked out, and they let you know if there is anything amiss. I found Core Medical through Cody Alford at We Defy the Norm, or Defy the Norm. I'm unsure which. I think he moved to Defy the Norm. I will make sure to tag Core Medical and Cody Alford and Defy the Norm, in addition to everybody else that I speak about. So I'll be putting all the information below. So Cody connected me with Sydney Gordon, who owns Core Medical, and a while ago, like 6 months ago, we did a raffle. So many of you can probably remember the raffle, and the point of that raffle was to develop a fund that veterans can pull from so they don't have to pay to get their blood panels done. That, I think, was a hurdle to get things going for those who aren't feeling good. I think the initial prospect of spending, $200-$300 simply to have your blood looked at may have been an obstacle for a lot of people. It was for me. I am currently on TRT. I've been doing it for about 7 weeks, and I'm finally starting to feel the effects of it, and I'm super grateful for it. I'm really starting to experience the benefits of it. I'm feeling younger for sure. Not that my mind hasn't improved since I've been about 17. However, the energy and clarity, mental focus, all that stuff is improving. So if you are struggling with lack of libido, energy loss, brain fog, mood swings, weight gain, can't lose weight, if you're over 28, send me a message if you're concerned about that, and I'll get you set up so you can get your blood panels taken care of. So Cody connected me with Sid, the owner of Core Med, to get the raffle together. There's still plenty of money left in that fund to draw from. And when I was speaking with Sid about the raffle, he was like, hey man, you need to come down to the Military Appreciation Weekend. So I said, okay, I'll be there. So I went, and I brought my buddy Corey Murphy down. So the event is kind of like a typical event. There's lunch and dinner served, a bunch of speakers, a bunch of different activities. And, some of the speakers, Byron Rogers was there, Josh Lacey was there, Jason Redman was there, Cody Alford spoke, Mel Chansey was there. I forgot the fellow that took down Escobar. He was there. So there's a bunch of people there speaking, and there was tons of stuff to do. So they had coyote hunts. Murph went on one of the coyote hunts. There was shooting. There was they had rifle rifle demos, long gun demos. They had a couple of pistol courses. They had skeet shooting. There was also a situational awareness class led by Jason Redmond and Sifu Alan Baker, which was really cool. And they also had a really quick Stop the Bleed course, which was really nice to refresh and rehash the information that I recently got at the course that I had gone to. And it was just, you could kind of just hang out. There was a lot of fellowship. There was a lot of stuff that you could just hang out. They also had jiu-jitsu mats, so people were getting some rolls in. I haven't drowned on land in quite a while, so I didn't bring my gi down. I didn't roll. It's been a little too long since I did that, and I didn't want to just get murdered on the mat when I was on quote-unquote vacation. And this is the third attempt that I've made at recording this. I felt pretty disorganized the first couple times, so I've got my phone here. I just have some notes that I'm kind of trying to follow along, so that way I stay on course here. So Murph and I went down. We left from Indiana, and that was great. I mean, as soon as we left, it started a 72 to 96 hour just shit talk fest, and it's been a long time since I've been able to do that. So that was pretty much the best part about the trip. We got to the hotel, and we check in, get the room. We open the door. There's one king bed, no sofa, no pull-out couch. And so I call. Hotel's like, well, we're booked. We have 0 rooms. I was like, okay. So they're like, well, there's a hotel. It's across the way. We can set you up there. They have a room with 2 beds. So I was like, okay. We go across the way. We go to check in. They're like, no, we don't have a room with 2 beds. So I was like, okay, well, can we get does this have a pull-out couch? And they're like, yeah. So we get sorted finally, and it was kind of, in a manner of speaking, it kind of set the tone for the organization of the weekend. If there was one thing that I would say was a little, that was the point of contention for the entire weekend, was just, it was a little disorganized. There wasn't a lot of information about transportation to and from the location. There was a shuttle that ran between the hotel and Sid's place, and it was kind of, the shuttle would show up when it showed up, and there wasn't information on where it was going, from where, at what time. So it got that was a little confusing. That came into play throughout the weekend, but it's not a huge deal. So the first morning, we're leaving the hotel, and we roll up on these 3 dudes that are just sitting outside the hotel, and we just immediately clicked with these guys. And it was Paul, Chris, and Eric, and Paul and Chris from Anvil's Cachet. They make incredible jewelry. I'm not a jewelry guy, but these pieces I would wear. They're super amazing. They take spent brass and they put them into the jewelry. I think their tagline is "Wear the Battle," which is badass. And if you talk to Paul at all, there's a lot of love and a lot of heart into the work that they do. So we just immediately clicked with these guys. We ended up sitting with them the entire weekend. We set up, we had the table at the event, and once you find that familiar space, right? Personally, I deal with anxiety socially. It's not crippling by any means, but I'm the person that likes to just kind of hang back and observe, and making and breaking initial contact is the biggest challenge for me. So doing that in the morning, first thing, and then having these guys as a key, a kind of a fallback point, was really amazing, and it made things super super easy throughout the weekend. And one thing that really kind of blew me away was we're waiting in line for dinner one night. I think Murph was on the coyote hunt, and he hasn't come back yet. And I'm standing there with Paul, and he's like, "Man, I got to make a FaceTime call." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm good." So he looks around. He's like, "Man, the other guy's here." He's like, "Okay, cool." There were a couple of other guys that were at our table in front of me. And he looks at me and goes, "I just didn't want to leave you alone, man." And that was really impactful for me. The fact that he considered that and thought enough to be like, "Yo, just didn't want to leave you alone." That meant something to me. And it was incredibly kind, and I made sure to let him know that. And it's something that I think we overlook a lot about being with one another and being with people. And I'm not with people a ton, So that kindness just really like stood out to me. And, he and I have been conversing a lot since then. And I really think that there's been relationships that have been built or are beginning to be built from that weekend that are just going to be lasting. And that's the most important part of the weekend. That was the most exciting part of the weekend. So it was having that kindness and camaraderie was just incredible. And I feel like a bit of an outsider, a bit of a pariah, simply because I'm amongst all these people that are prior service and I'm not, and that was kind of a concern that I wouldn't say concern. I suppose I shouldn't say that, but it was just a thought that I had and just a spot of contention in my mind. And I was talking to Murph about it on the way home, and he was like, "Hey man, like, we don't care about it as much as you do." And I accept that, and that's probably true. It's just, throughout my life, that was one of the regrets that I carry. And so that's why I aim the nonprofit stuff that GoodWorks does for the vast majority of the nonprofits that the raffles and stuff benefit is veteran, because I want to serve those that have served. So that was it was just one of those things where it just felt really nice to like be amongst that community and be like really welcomed by them. And whether or not they knew or didn't, I guess that's really irrelevant. But it was really a good experience. The first day was really mostly relaxed. There wasn't a ton of stuff scheduled, and just people hanging out. And we met this guy named JR, and JR is some of the leadership at this organization called OpFob. OpFob's amazing. It's essentially this plantation near Beaufort. I think I want to say it's the name of the city or town, whether it's Ridgeline. I may be completely wrong on that, but they have these weekly meetups for veterans, and they have coffee on Saturday mornings. And he invited Murph and I down, and we were talking with our friend Melanie, and she and Murph decided they were going to go down. So OpFob has it more or less is a plantation. It's massive. They have all these buildings and stuff, and one thing that's really incredible about their organization, which is a 501c3, is once a veteran crosses the lines onto OpFob, they pay for nothing. Everything's included. Everything's taken care of. They come in, they relax, they have a good time. They have long distance shooting range. They've got, I think they said 100 yard and 200 yard. Maybe they had a 500 yard range. I can't remember. But I'm going to post a link with all the information for OpFob in the info. So that way, if you're interested in supporting them, you can check them out. Make sure you give them a follow on social media and all that good stuff. So we found out about OpFob and their coffee, and that was amazing. So the next morning was the pistol course, which I was really looking forward to because Cody Alford and Josh Lacey were instructing, and I find I'm a mid shooter. I'm okay. I'm not the I don't need to go through the basic. Make sure you keep your fingers straightened off the trigger until you're ready to fire. I'm a little beyond that, so I took the intermediate quote unquote course with Cody Alford, which was really awesome. So that morning, I get dropped off at Sid's place, and Mel and Murph take off to go to OpFob for the coffee, the little coffee deal. So I'm standing around and I meet this dude named Justin. Justin's a super nice dude. I really like Justin. Turns out he's a Midwesterner from Green Bay, a little bit north of me, but we just get to talking, and then we find out that the shuttle to go shooting to take us to the range left from the hotel, not Sid's place. So we're like, oh, okay, great. So Justin, being the nice fella that he is, the Midwest nice guy, as he likes to say, we hop in his van with Jason Warren and his wife. And there's a lot of J names from the weekend, which got really confusing. Jason Warren, make sure to check him out as well. He has the mindfulness medic, I believe. I will also link that information so you guys can follow Jason as well. He has some really great content going on. So we hopped in Justin's van and tried to find the shooting range. After a couple of incorrect pins and going through some quote-unquote estates that were relatively sketchy. We finally found the range. We got to shooting. And as I'm shooting, not as I'm shooting, but while I'm there, I check my phone and there's a message from Murphy. He's like, hey man, do you have the car key? So I unzip my boogie and lo and behold, there's a car key in my boogie bag. I was like, yeah, man, I have it. I'll take an Uber. So I told Justin, and Justin says, nah, man, don't worry about it. I'm going to take you over there. So Murph's cool with me finishing up shooting. So just do a couple more courses of fire, pack up, get in the van. And Justin takes me on a 40-minute drive out to OpFob. And I tell you what, I'm super grateful that I forgot that key because one, I got to check out OpFob, which is really cool. I saw a small part of it. I didn't do the whole tour. I really didn't want to inconvenience anybody. But I did get to go and see this really beautiful property, speak with some folks that were there hanging out with Murph and Mel. So that was one benefit of having forgotten the key, and the other one was just sharing a ride with Justin and learning about him and his time in his time of service, how it converted over to his daily life, and just talking about music and heavy metal and everything else. So and learning about him. So that was a really fantastic accident. It was like a happy accident, as they say. So it was really good to have that. So after that, we go back, listen to some speakers, and I took a moment to talk to Cody Alford, because I've been talking with Cody for a few years now. I have probably 3 weeks of t-shirts from We Defy the Norm. I have a lot. And I really appreciate and connected with the message that Cody has shared. If you don't know Cody's story, be sure to check him out. Watch the Sean Ryan podcast with him on it. Listen to his story. It's really quite incredible. And I'm not talking about like the Marine Corps Raider stuff. I'm talking about or Force Recon, whatever they want to call them. Whatever. I've been explained the difference like a dozen times and I can never remember. But it's not his military service that's the super impressive part to me. It's what he's done for himself since then and for his family and the leadership role he has in the world as opposed to the Corps. So if you don't follow Cody, listen to his story. It's really incredible. So I took an opportunity to say hi because, there's tons of people there. Well, not tons, 150 people or something. But, he's there. He's a speaker. He's a leader there. Then, he's a famous person there. So I didn't want to take a ton of his time, but it was really good to connect with him, face to face, and to see him in person and connect with him and to thank him. Without Cody, I wouldn't have been there. I definitely wouldn't have gone down, the path of getting myself optimized and working on myself. He's definitely contributed a lot to my mental health and space and the realization that, I got to take care of me too, and not just others. Right. So that was really great meeting him. And shooting with him was awesome. It was, it's always good to shoot. It's always fun shooting. But having some guidance and direction from him was really nice. It felt like it was personal. There was connection. There's a bunch of people there, but it felt like there was a connection though too, which is really great. And as I'm speaking of connection is by far and away the most important part of the weekend. And it was really just meeting people that are super passionate about what they're doing. For instance, Melanie. Corey's friend, Murph's friend, initially online, our internet friends that we met and we all became fast friends while we were there. Hearing her talk about all of these projects that she has in mind for her community, all these ways that she wants to help her community grow, and it's just really invigorating and it's really energizing to hear people that are excited about growing themselves, growing their communities, making an impact in other people's lives, not just to serve themselves, but to serve others. And it's that environment is very enriching and empowering, and it's very you leave. It's tough for me because I have like this little back and forth where it's very draining for me to socialize with people, but at the same time I was feeling really energized because of the quality of the people that were there. The mindset of no excuses, all gas, no brakes, and just positive. And it's not like the feel good positive, like find a silver lining. It's more than that. It's deeper than that. It's not just something that you would say to placate your sadness or something like that. It's more so like true forward movement within yourself and within the world. We're all dead. We are all already dead. So it's realizing that it's memento mori. You will die. Realize you know that you will die, and it's that, and it's these people who are taking those steps in their lives to maximize every moment that they've got while they're here to maximize and to do more. And having that over the weekend was really just incredible. That being said, I'm not going to take too much more of your time talking about this. I just wanted to dedicate more time than a couple of Instagram stories to it because it really was a powerful weekend. You need to come. If you're prize service, if you were in the military, you need to come next year. I really want to. My goal is to facilitate taking care of providing a few spots next year. I'd like to get 5 spots ideally to sponsor 5 people to go down. I know that there is a price point to it. That price point mainly takes care of your hotel and your food. We didn't have to buy any food all weekend. We bought one meal the night that we got in. The rest of it was pretty good breakfast at the hotels, and then lunch and dinner were served at the event. So food is lunch and dinner is taken care of, lodging is taken care of with the price, and you get an amazing experience. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Sid's place is absolutely gorgeous. Tons of stuff to do. If you have kids, bring them. It's definitely kid friendly. They had like a bouncy castle, which I was tempted to go into. Trampolines. They had Red Ryder BB guns for target practice for the kids. It's a family thing. There can be some intense language for sure. It is the veteran community after all. However, if you have the slightest inclination to go, you need to go. It won't be till next year. Surprise, surprise. And I'll be sure to keep that. That'll be in the forefront as it comes up. But an incredible experience. Huge thanks to Sydney Gordon for inviting me out. Cody Alford for connecting me and leading the way to that for me. And I was just really if any of you were there that are listening to this, it was amazing meeting you, and I really look forward to fostering those relationships and those friendships going forward, and not just having it have been like a handshake and a what's up, because it's deeper than that. Anyhow, thank you so much for listening to me speak about this. I do have some really fun stuff planned in the future. We are going to be doing a raffle very, very soon. Probably, maybe even before this comes out. Maybe not. We'll see. Raffle coming up, and I have a really fun idea that I stole from a very popular, it's a combination of a very popular YouTube show plus the greatest rest stop on earth. That'll be coming up. So stay tuned. I guess tuned. Do we tune anymore? Anyhow, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, any comments, I know you're concerned. Please feel free to slide into the DMs, or you can send an email to info@good-werks, WERKS.com. And until next time, thank you guys.